in a perfect world, with enough volunteers, and this is the way Marin does it. If you're on the Harbor Seal team, you don't touch anything else at the center. That's where you go. And God forbid if you even think about looking at an elephant seal or California sea lion and then going back near the harbor pup. So,
aren't harbor seals more likely to catch something from other harbor seals rather than from a different species?
Yeah, but we're looking at primarily age groups. These guys are typically, when we have harbor seals, they're all babies and all have less than fully developed immune systems. So,
why is it that elephant seals don't come in until they're older? I mean,
well, we'll talk about elephant seals a little bit more at the end because they could complicate everything. So this is a baby that's moved outside. I don't think we're going to talk much about fish school now, were we?
I don't think we need overview.
So yeah, when we get through tubing, you guys will all be old hands at it anyway. So
the general thing is that we start them out tube feeding. Once we get them transitioned to the outdoor pens, we start training them on how to eat fish, and some of them take to it just great, and others just don't seem to. You don't think they're ever going to learn how to eat fish, and you just, it takes a lot of patience, and I think as Pauline can tell from last year's, we had some difficult ones that would just, really try your patience, but you just keep working with them, and they do finally get it. And when they do, we're all so thankful. Because it's like each step just keeps getting easier. Once you get them on cut fish, then we start moving them towards, and it's just, moving them towards that point where they're big enough to take care of themselves. And we can
so these are guys after they get moved outside, their immune systems have developed, they're thriving, they're growing, they're gaining weight. That's something else that we probably didn't mention, but weighing is a regular part of every animal's observation and record keeping here, is because weight is one way that we can easily look at an animal and see if they're thriving and doing well, because most of the animals we see are either youngsters that should be growing, or they're adult animals that were skinny and a rack of bones because they finally got sick enough for us to capture them. So these guys are now in group pens and getting their little pools so they can swim and learn to eat. Oops, we're regressing here.
We also swim them when they're inside, once a day, to help them to eliminate.
Fat little harbor seals who are begging to be released. It's another subject as well. I didn't have a long time to do this, so I'm not sure what order these are in. These are just all guys outside for...
Also, maybe mention that these pictures show surrogate little stuffed animals in there, which we do not do anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those anthropomorphic things, I think, that we do with our animals sometimes. Think, oh, he needs a stuffed animal, he needs a mommy, but they're also a possible fomite, something that could have bacteria or virus on it. So somebody asked about elephant seals. This time of year as well, and we're just kind of like silently praying right now and knocking on wood that we don't have any elephant seal pups, because this is also, actually elephant pup season is prior to harbor seal season, usually from early to mid-December through February, and this is a little black coat elephant seal baby. They're born primarily out on Castle Rock, and they stay there and they nurse for about a month. They don't know how to swim, and so if a big storm or high tide surges can take them off the island, and then if they're lucky enough they'll wash into the beach and we can pick them up and raise them. But any black coat elephant seal on the beach, unlike harbor seals, is a rescue that needs to happen, because it's separated from its mother. She's not looking for it. It's there until it dies or we pick it up off the beach. So they have that black coat until they wean, and then they start molting into what we call a brown coat, which is a brown coat. This one actually is not as black as a black coat, so this one probably is about at a weaner stage. But the elephant seals are, I mean, really taken care of just like harbor seals. They're just bigger and you tube them with larger quantities. And elephant seal milk is the richest milk in the animal kingdom. We have a little trouble approximating that, so our formula that we tube feed with is a little different. But because you figure these guys in the wild nurse for about a month, they are born at 75 to 90 pounds, and in a month they can weigh, some of them, 300 to 400 pounds. So it's exponential growth. And so the reason we get them is both the storm issue, and occasionally there'll be a cow that dies or something, and there's maternal separation. So these guys we could deal with even in the next month. And so
When do they learn to swim? Because you said they don't
they
swim.
learn after their mother, when the month is up, she just takes off because her hormones are saying it's time to breed, and she then is interested in that. So they go off and join the harem with the bull, and so the pups are just kind of left on their own. But as you can imagine, if they've grown from 75 to 300 pounds, they got tons of blubber. They don't need to eat for months. They don't need to drink. They just live off of their blubber. So they'll start experimenting and learning to swim. So over the next couple of months, they become real avid swimmers, and they start experimenting with catching fish and such. But it's normal for them to lose, a large part of that weight gain and get down to 150 pounds or so as they start to successfully fish. So. And I love elephant seals. They are so much fun, but they're definitely more challenging if you get a black coat in, and they're actually pretty hardy. If you get them up to the point where they're ready for fish school, they can be more difficult to teach fish, eat fish. I mean, they have jaws of steel, and there are certain personalities of humans that can be very successful at elephant seal fish school. There are other people that should just never even try it, and if you don't have the patience of a mom, you probably should forget about it. And sometimes one person will be really successful with one seal, and another person couldn't get a fish in it to save their lives. So it's one of those things where you don't have pride win out. You say, what, I'm just not having any luck with this one. Have somebody else try it and maybe watch them do it. And so
There's all sorts of different techniques to get a fish in.
yeah.
And can you comment on, basically, if nobody else is around and you can't get a fish down your seal, what do you do?
And there's
You give
nobody
up?
around?
Yeah.
Well, certainly, I mean, there's a point. I guess I look at, okay, first of all, personnel safety. Can I safely handle this animal by myself? And if the answer is yes, then I'll try. But a lot of feeds, like elephant seals, oftentimes are a two-man feed, somebody to restrain and somebody to feed. So.
But also at some point, I think it gets too stressful for the seal.
Mm-hmm.
If you're constantly, pulling their mouth open and shoving something down,
Yeah.
you don't want to do that for an hour.
Right. And there are some tricks with elephant seals, again, because they're kind of the most notorious for being hard to teach to eat, is sometimes we'll resort to chemicals that God gave us, like Valium, which is a very potent appetite stimulant. And I've had pharmacists say, yeah, some of my female patients have used Valium, and they're a little obese because they like to eat too. But we use, very small doses, and it sedates them, relaxes their jaw a little bit. And like we use it for cats in the hospital. You can give a micro dose of Valium to a cat that hasn't eaten in a week, and